Hey everyone, RogueGold here, and today I want to go over some new information and news that has just dropped that kind of backs what I've been saying about The Division 3 for a long time, but I know a lot of people have always said that they have been convinced that The Division 3 has been in development, ever since like Warlords of New York release. There's been people saying that even though it's not been announced, even though there's been no leaks about it, people are just convinced that it's actually being developed behind the scenes, and we may have some new information that kind of works against that theory, so I want to go over what we learned and kind of give my own perspective and thoughts on it. So I have to give a big shout out to Guru, who tagged me on Twitter, and I saw this pretty quickly after it was posted. There's a new article that came out from Insider Gaming, which to anyone who doesn't know is the site that was put together by Tom Henderson, who is a pretty reputable leaker within the gaming industry. So right off the bat, I'll say take everything we talk about in this video with a grain of salt, as it is leaks we're discussing. It is not official information coming from Ubisoft themselves, and even though this article backs up what I've believed for a while, still, we could be wrong, and Division 3 could be in development. But as far as what this is saying, that is not the case. I'll leave a link for the article down in the description below so you can go and check it out for yourself, but I will just read kind of the excerpts of what they say on here. So the title is, Ubisoft currently has no plans for The Division 3. Then says, despite the success of the first two installments, Ubisoft currently has no plans to release The Division 3. While things could ultimately change, those close to the company have told Insider Gaming that a new mainline game in the series is not in development. They then go on to talk about the success of The Division 1 and 2. They also touch on the recent Season 10 drama with the game generation build breaking and all of that stuff. And then they go on to mention at the bottom what to do instead in The Division. With no plans for The Division 3 on the horizon, players will have to continue to patrol Washington, D.C. and New York City. For those who can't wait for more content in the series overall, the spin-off The Division Heartland remains in development by Red Storm Entertainment. They then break down what is supposedly in the game, which, but they say, as of writing, there has been no update on when the game is expected to launch. When released, it's planned to be available for PC, Xbox, PlayStation, all that. So that's all great for Heartland and what else is going on in the universe. But of course, they talk about The Division 3 here. And like I said, this kind of backs up what I've been saying about The Division 3 for a good while now, which is that I do believe it one day will absolutely happen. And they say right here, while things could ultimately change. But that's not going to be for a few years, because I think what is going to pan out here is that the Avatar team that Massive has in place to make that game, which is the soonest releasing project by Massive, that's probably going to retain some of its development base. From what I understand, they're probably going to do a few expansions for that game to coincide with the release of the future movies that they're going to do. The Star Wars game and the Star Wars team, however, those are the majority of the Division 2 developers that left the Division 2 after the release of Warlords of New York, and from my understanding, that's supposed to be just a one and done. Maybe they'll do a DLC here or there, but it's not this sort of live service thing like The Division is, or like Avatar, even though not really a live service. That's going to have more post-launch stuff than, from what I understand, Star Wars will. And so it has been my understanding, and I, further believe this after reading this article, is that once Star Wars wraps up and once that's out, that team will then come back and move back to the Division IP, and that's when they will start working on a Division 3, at least in full production. They could, do some preliminary planning before then, but at least according to this article, it looks like that is not currently happening, as the Division 3 currently is not in development, which again is not a huge surprise to me, but like I said, a lot of people have told me over time that they are convinced that this was indeed the case, and that Division 3 was being made by maybe a different studio or somebody, and that it was going to come out either like next year or, a lot sooner than I think it really will, which at this point is probably like 2027, 2028. So we've got a while to wait, but fortunately we do have more stuff coming for the Division in the meantime. We of course have the Division 2's Year 5. We got Heartland coming up, which you all know I'm very excited for. So even though this might be a bit of a bummer news drop for some, I think it's important to remember that the Division isn't going anywhere anytime soon. Thank you all so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and be sure to subscribe with notifications on so you can be updated every time I upload. Let me know your thoughts on this new article that is dropped from Insider Gaming claiming that the Division 3 is indeed not in development. Does this surprise you? Were you in the camp that was thinking that this was actually happening behind the scenes, or have you always kind of had my train of thought to where, didn't think this was happening, but it probably will in the future once Massive wraps up with the likes of Star Wars? Whatever your thoughts are on the matter, I will as always be very curious to hear them in the comments down below, and that is going to do it for me today, everybody. Once again, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful day, and until the next one, guys, RogueGold out.